Chapter 57. Purge materialized. Inside her control console, a holographic display showed a lush of verdant paradise. 2567, Mercury of Earth Empire, Saber offered. The retired Commodore yawned and stretched, typing buttons on Purge's teal and cerulean control units. A cappuccino materialized. Saber rolled her eyes. Yes, the overwhelming astoundment, the sheer joy of time travel, simply cannot be contained.
I thought I was the sarcastic one.
Mr. Blue appeared from the doorway of the Endless. It vanished behind him.
What did you notice, Sully? About Mercury?
Sully took a sip and peered up at the hollow screen.
Looks like a vacation resort planet. Another spot then, old man.
You do know what Mercury is, right? Closest planet to your star? Really, really, really hot?
Right, yes. In the future, what's it?
2567, Saber repeated.
Yeah, in 2567, the Earth Empire looks like it's what do you call it then? Terraformed?
Terraformed, Mr. Blue corrected.
Terraformed Mercury. Turned it into a posh planet,
Sully concluded. The Time Lord nodded absently and watched as Saber downloaded information from Purge's podium through her vortex manipulator. The beautiful time agent typed away on her futuristic watch. Mr. Blue rubbed his left wrist.
Purge, how long till you can bloody well make me another temporal wrist device?
Purge's commanding female voice intoned from the overhead.
It was one of a kind, Capes Ilonikorkvez Traveler, from the Special Weapons Deployment Cabinet of the Second Grand Museum.
So then, but along perfect?
Purge's voice seemed to soften a bit.
You only call me perfect when you desperately want something.
The Time Lord was oddly stroking the Arctic and Lapis dials and levers of the multi-lectern.
A beautiful name for a beautiful lady. See, the Time Watch makes things so much.
It will be done when it's done,
Purge snapped.
Get out.
Without a word, Mr. Blue disappeared outside. The time agent smiled cryptically and whispered, "Thanks," to the console before following the unpredictable Time Lord. Disappearing through Purge's entry wall, Sully sighed, looked at Ruckus. The silver humanoid remained motionless. Mr. Blue's voice echoed from outside into Purge's control chamber.
Oh, come on, you daft old fart.
The retired Commodore managed to take his coffee through the materialization wall without spilling it. He grinned privately at this small accomplishment, which no one noticed, as he stepped onto the surface of Mercury 2567 and lit a cigarette. This is what is known as Mercury Dayside Section. Saber crossed her arms, the habitable part of the planet made possible by the Gold Rapids. Visibly uneasy, Sully stepped back.
No, damn it, not them again. We just bloody got rid of that.
Mr. Blue patted him on the back.
This is the non-sentient remnant technology, old boy. Nothing to get riled about. A century later, after we crashed and hijacked all the machinery back on Earth and stopped the time bitches scheme, the scientists, the good ones, figured out how to utilize the Gold Rapids, nanorobotics the proper way, and look what you humans can do.
Before the group of time travelers was a planet-side vista as beautiful and habitable as any luxurious island on Earth Sully had ever seen. The grass was bright green, almost glowing neon. The water in the distance was clear, piercing, deep blue. The air smelled and tasted of heat and humidity, as if the surface itself were a wild, thriving jungle. Above them, the sun was incredibly massive, larger than the human eye could really comprehend. It was red, and bolts of plasma ricocheted in the atmosphere shell of Mercury, sending strange, iridescent shadows that rode to the crimson sky in waves. In the distance were the rapids, glittering, gleaming, shining gold fields of reprogrammable architectural production infrastructure devices, hard at work.
What is it they're doing now? Terraforming?
Sully asked. Actually, no, but good guess, Saber replied. The time agent slid on a pair of sunglasses. The Gold Rapids are harnessing the astounding power of the sun, see? They're harvesting all that energy, predominantly heat and light and plasma, then converting it into a convenient, universal energy source to be traded across the cosmos.
Across the Earth Empire?
Sully grinned. Mr. Blue sighed.
Right. The cold rapids have finally become the vital part of the humanity's push out into the stars that they were always meant to be.
Nice job, by the way, Saber conceded, screwing over deceit by targeting the source of all the corrupt programming.
All I did was send her nastiest right back to her.
Mr. Blue opened his arms wide, proudly. Saber laughed.
What?
The Time Lord in the cobalt suit looked back at her. You will be surprised at how often that is all that's needed to beat anyone. The Silver Rapids Collective, known affectionately as Ruckus, emerged from the antique teal grandfather clock. Bright red light from the atmosphere overhead gleamed against its silver and metallic reflective humanoid form.
Lordy Tin Man, you are shiny!
Sully shielded his eyes for a brief moment before being handed a spare pair of sunglasses by Saber.
Hey!
Think Purge applied some chrome to you just now to vex Mr. Blue?
Hey!
Oh!
Mr. Blue pointed in the distance. Beyond the golden, glimmering fields, there was a sea. A silver sea.
Are you seeing this, Saber?
Got it. Sully stamped out his smoke, impatiently.
Got what? What's going on?
Saber handed him the small, clear piece of glass she was always fiddling with.
What the bloody hell am I going to do with this?
Look through it. The retired Commodore blinked a few times and gazed through the beautiful time agent's psychic glass. It automatically adjusted and zoomed in for him. He saw a ship, a tiny ship with small sails, cruising over the silver sea on a wave of steam and heat, not touching the surface.
It's a maintenance skiff,
Mr. Blue explained.
Have you noticed the troubling thing?
Sully asked. Saber tilted her head. That it's trailing an awful lot of smoke?
That it's increasing speed?
Mr. Blue asked.
No,
Sully sighed, as if expecting it.
but it's headed straight for us.
Within seconds, the malfunctioning, smoking, crashing steampunk skiff had sailed over their heads and slammed head first into Purge with a cacophonous crash. The ancient, peeling old grandfather clock stood smoking in the debris. Wreckage of the skiff, labeled Mercury Dayside, lay in a rubble around Purge as the Iotardis remained untouched. It looked as if the ship had collided with a wall. Saber, Mr. Blue, and Ruckus tore into the heap of twisted metal and glass, a blur of emergency retrieval activity that Sully could only stand by and watch. Ruckus safely ambulated the two survivors of the crash away from the immediate danger of the area. Mr. Blue paced around the pair of humans, a young woman and a young man, attractive in their early 20s, slightly burned, knocked out, and unconscious. After quite a few moments of typing, Saber administered anti-shock drugs and stress relievers, as well as instant first aid, which she explained to Sully was a microorganic template divider. Pressed further, she simply said, "It takes care of minor stuff. Grows new skin."
Oh!
The Time Lord in the cobalt suit crouched next to the young lady, gently touching her left temple. She bolted upright, as if awoken by electric shock, breathing hard, staring out wildly. Saber calmed her for a moment, trying to get her to focus. She slowed her breathing, blinking, taking in her surroundings. Her eyes finally settled onto Mr. Blue. The young Mercurian woman pointed to the Time Lord, mouth agape.
You!